So today's episode of Rethink Sales, and I want you to really concentrate on that. Rethink sales. If you're happy with your sales as they are, then this probably isn't for you. If you're not happy with your sales as they are, then this is definitely for you. And the reason for rethink is because the thinking is what's getting you to where you are today, which you're unhappy with. So I'm going to teach you today how to rethink sales. And I am going to give you some ideas that are going to knock your socks off. My guess is you've probably never heard something like this before. So I'm going to cause you to rethink your sales. And when you rethink your sales and you do what I'm telling you to do, which is primarily focus on your client, then your sales are going to go up by 10%, 20%. I have clients that I'm working with right now, Derek, that are doubling their sales. How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet. All right, I'm going to teach you how to sell today.
Okay.
And you don't even know about this, do you?
I don't.
I'm going to teach you how to sell. Jess, please come get one of these. You can help me out here. This is 5 pieces of paper and a pen.
Okay.
But I'm going to teach you and Jess how to sell.
Okay.
Okay. I am a sales expert. I'm not a good salesman. I'm not a great salesman. I'm the best salesman. And I'm about to prove that to you.
Okay.
So I have in my hand 5 pieces of paper and a pen. So this is a product, but I'm also going to wrap a service around this. And I'm going to sell Derek on my product and my service and my idea. So in order to do that, Derek, with your permission, I would like to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
This takes no more than 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
And there's no obligation. It's just an opportunity for me to ask you a few questions that I think are really important in terms of my product and service.
Yeah.
So do I have your permission to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to think. The most important person in your life is whom?
I would say my wife, Laura, L-O-R-A.
L?
O-R-A. Yep.
Laura.
Yep.
And Laura is your wife.
Yep.
Who is the second most important person in your life?
I would say my kids, but it's hard to pick one of them per se.
I don't want you to. Children. And please, what are their names?
Josiah, J-O-S-I-A-H.
J-O-S.
I-A-H. Yep.
Okay.
Mirabelle, it's a long one. M-I-R-A-B-E-L-E.
Okay.
And Ariel, which is A-R-I-E-L-E.
A-R-I-E-L-E. Okay, so I have, and it's actually,
Josiah.
you pronounce the J, Josiah
Yep. Yep.
and Ariel.
Yep.
Who's the third most important person in your life?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. It's tough to pick. My parents.
And what are your parents' names?
Dan
That's my son's name, Daniel. I love that name.
and Sandy. So S-A-N-D-Y.
S-A-N-D-Y.
Yep.
Wow. And how old are your parents?
My parents are 66.
Wow. Isn't that wonderful? They're both 66.
I think so.
Well, you are blessed. Look at my mug here. Blessed. You're blessed. That's really neat.
Yeah.
That both your parents are still alive. Both of my parents are deceased, and it's a sad thing for me.
Yeah.
But they are. And yeah. So enough about that. The fourth most important person in your life.
I'd say my business partner, Brad's pretty important.
What's Brad's last name?
McCoy, M-C-K-O-Y.
I knew that. M-C-K-O-Y.
Yep.
Brad McCoy. I'm asking just one more, and we're.
Probably the team I work with. So Jess, Jared.
How about if I just put my team?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. So I have Laura, your wife, the children,
Yep.
Josiah, Maribel,
And Ariel. Yep.
Ariel. Did I say that correct?
Ariel.
Ariel.
It's either or.
R-E-L. Okay. Your parents, Dan and Sandy,
Yep.
Brad McCoy, your partner, and your whole team. Okay, now beyond the obvious, why is your wife so important to you?
She's the one person I spend day in and day out with for the rest of my life. When I took my vows, I was committed to her. I wasn't committed to somebody else. So she's marriage is a sacred covenant. So it's like we decided together that we're going to get married. That's pretty important, right?
It's not pretty. It's not pretty important. It's incredibly important. It's
Yes.
really important.
Yes.
So it's a sacred thing for you. That's lovely. Okay, beyond the obvious, Josiah, Maribel, and Ariel, why are they so important to you?
Without them, it would just be Laura and I, which would be cool. It just wouldn't be the same. That's the legacy that I'm leaving, right? Those are the kids that I'm training up. Without.
It's interesting. I'm writing notes here with your permission. You threw out 3 very, really powerful words: sacred, Legacy and training. I didn't spell training right. But anyways, I get it. Training. That's really powerful stuff. Okay. Your parents, beyond the obvious, why are your parents so important to Derry Kelly?
I was born at 24 weeks. My parents were troopers, man. They were with me. They raised me, which is the obvious.
No, you did that too fast. Just slow down here. So 24 weeks to, wow.
Yeah.
So you were born at 6 months.
Yeah.
So you're
much.
premature.
Yep. And that was hard for them, right? That's not an easy road. I mean, Mirabelle was a premature baby at 32, 33 weeks, and that was hard. But I can't imagine being 6 or 7 weeks sooner.
Yeah, you
Right.
shoulda, coulda, woulda died, I would
Yeah,
think.
right.
Yeah. Can we use that word?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going to put that down if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Can we put down blessed?
Absolutely.
I'm going to circle that. I think you're blessed. You're making me cry.
Yeah.
I think you're blessed. I think we're both blessed to be here.
Yes.
Because it's not necessarily in the cards, is it?
Yeah.
You may not have made it.
May not have
And
made
if you
it.
didn't make it, there is no you and me, is there? We're
No.
not having this conversation right now. What I want you to think about is without that survival and the aid of your parents, there is no Josiah,
That's right.
there is no Maribel, and there is no Ariel.
That's right.
There would still be a Laura,
Sure.
but she wouldn't be married to you, obviously.
right. Yeah.
You wouldn't be here. It's really, when you ponder, that's powerful stuff, is it
It
not?
is. Yeah. It's like,
Would you say blessed is a good word for Derry Kelly today?
yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
lovely. Tell me why Brad McCoy is so important to you, please.
Oh, Brad has so many roles in my life. We lead a church together, so there's that angle. We lead a business together, so there's that angle. And we just have a deep friendship, right? We've been in business now together for about 12 years, and they say partnerships can either make or break a business. And so being able to have the hard conversations, or what do we do next, or how do we grow? I'm so glad I'm not doing it by myself, right? I'm so glad I'm not.
Well, do you agree that two heads are better than one?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that 1 + 1
Yeah.
= 3, 4, 5, 6?
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
agree with that? That's the Mastermind Alliance?
Yeah.
Right out of our book, Think
It
and
is.
Grow Rich?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we see such different perspectives. He's much more
Yeah.
visionary. He sees things a little sideways. I'm a little bit more technical, see things a little bit more sequentially.
Yeah.
And those together, they could be disastrous.
Make a nice pie.
In most ways, it works really well.
They make a nice pie
So,
when you think
yeah.
about it. Okay, so we got Brad. And then beyond the obvious, please tell me why your team is so important to you.
Man, I think your team ends up setting you up for a way of doing life together. So a lot of these folks are our friends and work with us, right? So some of them go to our church, some of them are people we've met along the way, some of them are college students that we've hired, right? And so they're more than just a work team. These are people we give Christmas presents to, we invite over for dinner, right? So it's really a culture of family. It's an extension of our family.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, I'm underlining some of these words: friends, culture, family. Seems like as we speak here that you talk a lot about family. So you've talked about your mom and dad. You've talked about your wife. You talked about your children. You talk about your team. Seems like it all circles around that word family.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You have 5 pieces of paper in your hand,
I do.
okay, with a pen. My total investment in that pen and paper, which I'm giving you today, is 12 cents.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you how to sell.
All right, I'm ready.
When I can take a product and or service and increase the value of that product and or service, I'm moving closer to a sale. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to take 12 cents worth of stuff and we're going to get to work.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
You sure you're ready?
I think so. I don't know what I'm about to do, but I'm ready.
So let's talk about Laura. Laura's your wife, and you have a very sacred vow, sacred relationship.
Yeah.
So I would like you to sit down with Laura with one of these pieces of paper and a pen. This is your homework, okay? Will you do what I'm going to ask you to do?
Yeah.
I would like you to sit down, and I would like you to write out a very special date day, almost like a bucket list
Yep.
for this day. So we're going to do, first we're going to go here. We're going to go here. Then we're going to go there. Then we're going to stop and visit my mom and dad. We're going to get home in time to pick up the kids from school. And we're going to take them to the playground. And we're going to make this bucket list. It's really all about these people, primarily Laura, excuse me. Okay. So that's one piece of paper. We're going to do a mini bucket list. Okay.
Yep.
Let's go to the next piece of paper
All right.
with the children.
Yep.
Can we take, and it'd be neat to have all 3 of the children do this. Can we take one of our pieces of paper and our pen and have the children do a piece of artwork for Dan and Sandy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Would that be a valuable thing to do?
Yeah, they're really creative. They love to just draw stuff and give them to people.
Something
Anyway.
special for your parents.
Yep.
How cool would that be?
That'd be awesome.
Now, with our third piece of paper, I'm going to ask you to write a letter to your mom and dads, Dan and Sandy. And it's going to be a letter of gratitude. And I want you to put pen to paper, and I want you to write all the things that you're grateful to them for. And I want you to give that to them. And then I want you to sit down with Brad with your next piece of paper. And I want you, between the two of you, to develop a very important to-do list. These are the things that we're going to discuss, think about, and we're going to do. And make it pretty simple. Make it like 5 items. Don't get too complicated. And then we're going to, underneath the 5 items, we're going to write a to-not-do list. Now, let's think about some things that we're doing, and we know we shouldn't be doing this, whatever that would be. It might only be 2 or 3 things, whatever that number would be. That's okay. But we're going to stop doing this one thing. We're going to stop doing these 3 things. We're going to stop. No more. And we're going to hold each other accountable. So we're each going to have a copy of the to-do and to-not-do lists. And lastly, for my team, I'm going to write my team, and I'm going to have to use both sides for this, but I'm going to write a thank you, a personalized thank you to each one of those team members. And I'm going to take my time on this one. I'm going to really think about what I'm really thankful for and grateful for, and why I feel so blessed to have this particular person on my team. And we may need to go get a few more pieces of paper, which, by the way, I know you're a type, but paper itself, I bought 500 of these pieces of paper for $7.42. So I'm pretty sure you could probably go get some more paper.
I can, yes.
And probably for that last one for the team, we should write out individual thank you notes. I was thinking, this is extemporaneous, right? We didn't rehearse this, right?
Right.
Okay, Jess, you listening? So we're going to write a personal thank you note to each one of those people. And maybe we'll even buy some more paper and have Brad do the same. And we're going to give that to these
There's
these
10
folks
of them.
on a private
so
basis. We're not going to announce it. We're not going to read it. We're going to let them read it. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to share it with anybody but them. And if they want to share it, they certainly can. Do you know that thank you note to that individual person could be life-changing?
Yeah.
It could completely change their life. This is something they might carry around with them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And look at it once in a while and say, wow, boy, Derek really does appreciate me. I feel appreciated. Okay. What's the value of my goods and services?
Way more than 12.
Answer my question, please. What's the value?
I don't know if I can put a value on it.
Jess, what's the value of what I just presented to you? It's paper and pen. What's the value of this?
78 cents.
Is it worth $1 million? It might be worth 100,000. Might be worth 100. We don't know. That's the part we don't know. We really don't know. When you were born, your parents didn't know about Josiah, Maribel, and Oriel. Thank God they took care of you.
Yep.
Because here we are.
Right.
So the essence of selling at the fundamental level is a transfer of enthusiasm from me to the client. And the true definition of enthusiasm is having the Spirit of God inside of me. And this is not a religious conversation. It just means spirit, like a pep rally. I've got this pep rally in my belly right now. And I'm very enthusiastic about this idea. And so I transfer my enthusiasm to Derek. And so the essence of selling is that it is, in fact, a transfer of enthusiasm. But in order to do that, and this is the part I want you to listen to, this is really important. I need to find out what makes this guy tick. And if you think about what I did, I got him engaged on an emotional level. And I found out what makes him tick. I found out that Laura, his wife, is really important to him, sacred, if I may. And he really does put a lot of strength and a lot of emphasis, on his wedding vows. I found out about Derek's children. I know a good bit about his children now in terms of, I know the name Josiah and Maribel and Ariel, got that pronounced right. And I know that Derek wants to establish a legacy and he wants to train. Let me ask you a question, Derek. Can you teach what I just taught you to your children?
Yes.
Called the butterfly effect. Do you think it's relevant?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked about Dan and Sandy, Derek's parents. And we talked about Brad McCoy, Derek's business partner and close friend and church partner. And this guy's got a lot of connection in Derek's life. And then we talked about Derek's team. And do you see what's happened here? We have taken a piece of paper and a pen that I paid 12 cents for, and we've turned it into a very valuable thing. And that's selling, folks. That's selling. It's called value up versus price down. We're going to create so much value in our car, in our house, in our insurance proposition. But in order to do that, we got to find out what makes the client tick. Until we do that, we're just throwing darts in the dark at a target that we can't even see. This, what I did, is from years and years of professional selling. And I understand how to sell. We got to find out what's important to the customer. We got to find out the reason why. And then we got to show him or her how our product and or service is going to deliver on what's really important, in this case, to Derek Kelly. Derek Kelly, how'd I do?
Excellent. Excellent. I feel very known, feel very heard, feel very seen. So excellent. Yeah.
You're up.
And I didn't even know it was coming. And so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do want to say one more thing. Excuse me. So in here, this is the book Think and Grow Rich, which I've read 163 times. And I use this book for my part in building the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group. Let's talk about money now, okay? Think and Grow Rich. So this is the chapter on desire. I'm going to do this real quick. Napoleon Hill tells us to fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It is not sufficient merely to say, I want plenty of money. Be definite as to the amount. There is a psychological reason for definiteness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. Second, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. Third, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Fourth, here we go, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. Fifth, you got your paper and pen? Write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. 6, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night and once after arising in the morning. As you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. It is important. Oh, it's important that you follow the instructions described in these 6 steps. It is especially important. Wait, it's important, but this is especially important. It's especially important that you observe and follow the instructions. The object is to want money or whatever that goal is. We're talking money here. It could be something else. And become so determined to have it that you convince yourself that you will have it. Only those who become money conscious ever accumulate great riches. Money consciousness means that the mind has become so thoroughly saturated with the desire for money that one can see oneself already in possession of it. To the uninitiated, that'd be me, who has not been schooled in the working principles of the human mind, these instructions may appear impractical. They may appear impractical.
Yeah.
It may be helpful to all who fail to recognize the soundness of the 6 steps to know that the information they convey was received from Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest people in the history of the universe, as we know it, who began as an ordinary laborer in the steel mills, but managed, despite his humble beginning, to make these principles yield him a fortune of considerably more than $100 million. It may be of further help to know that the 6 steps here recommended were carefully scrutinized. I'll say that one more time. Carefully scrutinized, the 6 steps, by the late Thomas A. Edison. He invented the light bulb. What have you invented so far?
Nothing.
Okay, me neither. Who placed his stamp of approval upon them as being not only the steps essential for the accumulation of money, but necessary for the attainment of any definite goal. And that's highlighted. Any definite goal. So your goal may be a house, your goal may be a boat, your goal may be a certain car, your goal may be a certain amount of money in a bank account, whatever, debt-free, whatever the case may be. What is your goal? It's got to be clear and concise, right? So we're going to write out that statement, aren't we? Now what's it worth?
Now it's worth even more because now you have something, you have a plan, right? You have your reason why, you have your goal, and you have the pieces of those steps to move toward them.
How great would it be to get rich for your wife?
Be wonderful.
How great would it be to get rich for your children? Would you be in a position, to pay for their college education, for example?
Right.
Or to take your wife on that special trip that you've always wanted to go on, but it's, well, honey, we can't afford it because of ABC.
Sure.
Life is hard difficult, right? So now, what if what Napoleon Hill did here in this book was he interviewed 500 of the wealthiest people in America over a 25-year stretch, and was basically, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? How did you get to be so successful? And out of that came this book.
That's right.
And so what I did was I followed that book. I remember when I was bankrupt, I said, Napoleon Hill, if you get me out of this mess, bankruptcy imminent, which was my fault, I will do exactly what you tell me to do. I will dot the I's and I will cross the T's and I will not waver. And that's what I did. What's the value of this paper now? Paper and pen now.
It could be worth $100,000. It could be worth
Jess?
$500,000.
Jess, what's it worth? Priceless. I think that's a. Do you think we have a sell here?
Yes.
You just got sold, brother.
I did.
You just got sold.
All right. Thank you, Jim. That's such a good episode, hearing just your process of helping someone sell.
Makes me cry, man. I'm so emotional. I've been selling my whole life, and I'm a really good salesman because I understand, for me, selling is not about me. It's about the client.
That's good.
It's about the client.
Yeah.
And it's about figuring out what makes them tick, what makes them excited, what gets them turned on, what makes them, what's their reason why. And when I can get to that, then I can say, hold on a second, Derek. Let me show you that underneath in the inside of the trunk of this car. This is where we can put all the kids' soccer stuff. And we would have got to that, right?
Yeah.
Soccer stuff. And how much can we get everything in there? Yeah, we sure can. Is that important to you? Yeah. So it doesn't have to be in the back seat, clutter anything up. Right. Everything's in there.
Yeah.
The soccer stuff, the hockey stuff, all your stuff. Look how big that trunk is, man. Is that important to you?
Yeah.
Check mark. It's called value up selling versus price down selling. The price becomes very reasonable as the value goes up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in order to sell that car, it's the same as selling the paper and pen. If I increase the value by knowing what the client finds to be important and knowing why that is important, I can proceed to sell a lot of stuff. Make sense?
Yes. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.